Harold Frederick Shipman, known to acquaintances as Fred Shipman, was an English general practitioner who was also a serial killer. He is considered to be one of the most prolific serial killers in modern history, with an estimated 250 victims. On 31st of January 2000, Shipman was found guilty of murdering 15 patients under his care. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order. Shipman hanged himself in his cell at HM Prison Wakefield, West Yorkshire on 13th of January 2004, aged 57. The Shipman Inquiry, a 2-year-long investigation of all deaths, certified by Shipman, chaired by Dame Janet Smith, examined Shipman's crimes. It revealed that Shipman targeted vulnerable elderly people who trusted him as their doctor, killing them with either a fatal dose of drugs or prescribing an abnormal amount. As of 31st of December 2023, Shipman, also nicknamed Dr. Death and the Angel of Death, is the only British doctor to have been convicted of murdering patients, although other doctors have been acquitted of similar crimes or convicted of lesser charges. Some nurses have also been convicted of murdering patients in their care. In March 1998, Dr. Linda Reynolds of the Brook Surgery in Hyde expressed concerns to John Pollard, the coroner for the South Manchester district, about the high death rate among Shipman's patients. In particular, she was concerned about the large number of cremation forms for elderly women that he had asked to have countersigned. Police were unable to find sufficient evidence to bring charges and closed the investigation on 17th of April. The Shipman Inquiry later blamed Greater Manchester Police for assigning inexperienced officers to the case. After the investigation was closed, Shipman killed 3 more people. A few months later, in August, taxi driver John Shaw told the police that he suspected Shipman of murdering 21 patients. Shaw became suspicious as many of the elderly customers he took to the hospital while seemingly in good health died in Shipman's care. Shipman's last victim was Kathleen Grundy, a former mayor of Hyde, who was found dead at her home on 24th of June 1998. He was the last person to see her alive. He later signed her death certificate, recording the cause of death as old age. Grundy's daughter, solicitor Angela Woodruff, became concerned when fellow solicitor Brian Burgess informed her that a will had been made, apparently by her mother, with doubts about its authenticity. The will excluded Woodruff and her children, but left $386,000 to Shipman. At Burgess's urging, Woodruff went to the police, who began an investigation. Grundy's body was exhumed and found to contain traces of diamorphine, heroin, often used for pain control in terminal cancer patients. Shipman claimed that Grundy had been an addict and showed them comments he had written to that effect in his computerized medical journal. However, police examination of his computer showed that the entries were written after her death. Shipman was arrested on 7th of September 1998 and was found to own a Brother typewriter of the type used to make the forged will. Prescription for Murder, a 2000 book by journalists Brian Whittle and Jean Ritchie, suggested that Shipman forged the will either because he wanted to be caught, because his life was out of control, or because he planned to retire at 55 and leave the UK. The police investigated other deaths Shipman had certified and investigated 15 specimen cases. They discovered a pattern of his administering lethal doses of diamorphine, signing patients' death certificates, and then falsifying medical records to indicate that they had been in poor health. In 2003, David Spiegelhalter and others suggested that statistical monitoring could have led to an alarm being raised at the end of 1996 when there were 67 excess deaths in females aged over 65 years, compared with 119 by 1998. In addition, an abnormally large number of the deaths occurred around the same time of day when Shipman was on his afternoon visits and in the doctor's presence.